Dr. Josh, how did you get interested in this field specifically? What you mentioned how other people get brought into it, but what's your background here?
Yeah, so, I was a fundamentalist evangelical Christian for 25 or 26 years. And after I joined the Air Force, I wanted to become a chaplain. So I went and got a bachelor's degree at Liberty University in religion. And then I enrolled in a seminary to go get a master's degree so that I could become a chaplain in the Air Force. And so I didn't realize until I got to seminary that I wasn't a completely stupid person. Because up to that point, I felt, I didn't do very well in high school. I didn't really pay attention. I kind of goofed off. And, even through the bachelor's degree, it was like, I did okay, but not great. When I got to seminary, they started teaching me languages, ancient languages. And I feel like I took to it like a fish takes to water. And I loved it. So I dove into Greek. I, learned Koine Greek. And at the same time, I started diving into Hebrew. And once I learned Hebrew, I was like, oh my gosh, this is amazing. So I started studying Aramaic. Then I started studying Ugaritic and Syriac. Then I picked up Akkadian. And as I was studying Akkadian, I was coming closer to the end of my time at seminary. And I said to one of my professors, who was going to Catholic University at the time, and I said, look, what do you recommend? And he said, well, if you want to be like a top tier Old Testament scholar, you want to go learn Akkadian and you want to learn it really, really well. So my initial motivation for getting into Assyriology was just to really learn Akkadian really well. So I applied to Johns Hopkins University. And when I got there and interviewed, I talked to who would then become my professor and advisor, Paul Del Nero, and absolutely fell in love with Sumerian. It was amazing. So Sumerian and Akkadian, it's just all I wanted to do. So of course when I was accepted, I took the full complement of all the Sumerian Akkadian that I could take, but also took tons of Hebrew. I took Hebrew epigraphy. I took biblical archaeology. I took regular Near Eastern archaeology. I Mesopotamian history, Syro-Pal history, Egyptian history, all that stuff. But my focus became just to learn Sumerian and Akkadian and all the literature and all the history and the documentation, the textual evidence, the archaeological evidence that we have to understand this, incredibly important set of cultures. And so that's what brought me into it. It's only been since I've come onto social media that I've sort of now had a foot in both camps. At first I really focused during seminary, really focused on the Old Testament. Then when I got to, my PhD program, it was much more about Assyriology, although I still did a lot of Hebrew. And now it's like, I feel like it's a balance of both here online, where I'm talking about Hebrew Bible stuff all the time, but then I'm talking about ancient Near Eastern stuff all the time. So it's a really good balance for me.
Yep. Thanks for sharing that. So basically you thought you were pretty dumb all around, and then you, like a fish to the water, turned into a Leviathan of Assyriology.
My grandfather used to always say, last year I couldn't even spell engineer, and now I are one. And that's kind of how I felt.
Before I go, I owe the Ctruth patrons a huge thanks for their continued support in my endeavor to explore the world of chronology. Thank you all. Like the video, hit the subscribe button, drop a comment, and check out these other videos.